Yeah, so yesterday we made a video talking about how they're alive. They're alive! The New York Rangers have started to come out and breathe. JT Miller was right, wasn't he? All they had to do was start chucking the puck towards the goal more and more, and they'd get results, and that's exactly what happened. Yesterday Miller scored, yesterday Panarin scored, yesterday Zibanejad scored. So obviously, there's a lot to be excited for when it comes to this New York Rangers team, but that does not discredit some of the trade talk that's been circling around this Big Apple squad the past few days. I wanted to dive into that here in this video commentary, fully acknowledging that maybe some folks will dislike what it is that we are talking about. Let's hold off from talking about some of the big fish right away, and instead focus on a guy that can be seen as yet another disappointment for the New York Rangers. Today we're talking about first-round pick Brennan Othmann, and if that isn't music to your ears for all Islanders and Devils fans, then I don't know what will be. Because Brennan Othmann could be next in line in a series of New York Rangers first-round picks that just didn't turn out. Oh my goodness, I just saw this right here. Aiden Across the Mountain? There's a guy named Across the Mountain? That's crazy! Okay, I'm getting totally sidetracked here. But today we're talking about Brennan Othmann because he was a 16th overall pick made by the New York Rangers 4 years ago in 2021. 22-year-old, 6 feet, 192-pound left-handed winger, currently playing for the Hartford Wolfpack in the AHL. Now, he formerly was playing with the Don Mills Flyers U16 AAA team all the way back when Shane Wright and Brant Clark were on the squad. He was one of the three that made up that legendary U16 team, and he inevitably found himself in the OHL afterwards. He played in Switzerland during the shutdown OHL year before having a 97-point campaign in 66 games with the Flint Firebirds. This was post getting drafted, because he was drafted in 2021. The year after, he was looking so good in the OHL. And a lot of Rangers fans were super hyped up to see what he would inevitably do in the NHL. He was a really strong on-the-puck skater. He would really do well on breakouts, lead the charge into the offensive zone, and turn the corner on opposing D-men. He always attacks at full speed, playing a high-paced style and pressuring with that same level of intensity. He pressures on the forecheck, plays the body, and takes good routes to cut off the opposition's attempt at a breakout. Now, all this good stuff about Brennan Othmann was happening when he was a junior player, but ever since becoming an AHL guy, things have unfortunately not taken the right steps for Othmann in his development. He started out his pro career getting 49 points in 67 Hartford games, which is not bad, honestly. But the year after, he wasn't able to crack the Rangers lineup, only had 2 points in 22 games there, and was under a point per game with Hartford once more. Now this year, he got sent down for a third time, only has 1 point in 3 games, and we now had reports from Elliot Friedman saying that he's picking up some early trade interest. Brennan Othmann is. This article will be linked in the description. It was posted 3 days ago by Frege on sportsnet.ca. It's early, and most teams try to wait until making moves, but there is at least one name gaining traction out there. That's New York Rangers prospect Brennan Othmann. Othmann was sent down to the AHL after failing to make the NHL team, and since that occurred, there have been conversations with other clubs about his future. The Rangers have a lot on the wings, and it simply may be that he needs a fresh start elsewhere. We'll continue to see where things go, but there's definitely discussion about the next steps of his career. Stay tuned. Now, it's not even just Friedman going out there and talking about this. We also had Vincent Mercogliano posting a piece about how the Rangers are open to trading their 2021 first-round pick, Brennan Othmann. This was on The Athletic. The Athletic's behind a paywall. We're not going to read this. But what we are going to read is some of the comments from folks in the Rangers subreddit. He'll get, what, a 4th rounder if we're lucky? I have a feeling that he'll be packaged with somebody else by the deadline. He's just not going to make this lineup when guys like Perreault and Berard have surpassed him on the depth chart. Trade him for a 34-year-old power forward with 4 goals on the Ducks? Yeah, no, they're talking about Chris Kreider. That's funny. Unfortunately, this may have to be the way. Othmann seems to get the yips/serious confidence issues when he's called up to play in the main squad, and a clean slate could do the trick for him. Hopefully we can get something decent back for him. As is tradition, another jury masterpiece. No formal trade request has been made by Othmann's camp, according to the source, but there is recognition from both sides that a fresh start might be needed for the 22-year-old forward and his career. Now, there also was the post made by Elliot Friedman on the Rangers subreddit, and they're going out there and saying things here, hey, 2021 wasn't great. After Othmann, the only NHL player drafted was Wyatt Johnston, whom 7 other teams passed over too. Another wasted first-round pick. You're getting downvoted, but you're correct. Picked 16th overall and was drafted nearly 5 years ago and is currently in the AHL. Certified bust. Now, there's a little bit of sarcasm in there, but first-round pick, yeah, doesn't really look great for the New York Rangers when you think about Elias Anderson and Vitaly Kravtsov and Capo Kakko and Brennan Othmann. You can debate Alexis Lafreniere in there too. But hey, all talking about first-round picks aside, there are a number of other conversations we can have about the New York Rangers, one of which involves a top-tier player on the team. We're not talking about first-round picks anymore. In fact, this guy was never picked at all. We're also going to be talking about Artemi Panarin. Because 33-year-old Panarin is on a contract that expires at the end of this season, making $11.6 million a year. Kind of crazy that he started making this money in 2019, and now the contract's on the cusp of ending. This year, he's got 6 points in 7 games, on pace for about 71 points, and he had scored his first goal of the year yesterday against Montreal. Now, Breadman has been quite productive the past few years, indicated by multiple 90-point seasons, a 120-point season, and 89 points in 80 games last year, despite the Rangers not doing all too well. But this is what David Pagnotta went out there and spoke about in regards to Artemi Panarin on Oilers Nation Every Day 4 days ago. If the New York Rangers are a bubble fringe team after the Olympics, it wouldn't shock me if they take a serious look at pulling something off with Artemi Panarin. And this is all in response to the Panarin rumors, not necessarily going out there and doing it himself, but Pagnotta saying, yeah, if the Rangers aren't really great by the time the Olympics are over, we could see Artemi Panarin as a rental-like option for other NHL teams that want to make that bump. I don't know if salary retention is still going to be allowed by the time the trade deadline comes and goes next year, but in theory, if it was, you'd be able to do a double retention on Artemi Panarin, send him to another team that can act as a broker. They can retain 25% of the deal, and from 11.6, you'll go down to 5.8 million, and then you'll go down to 2.9 million as a final cap hit. That's if you're able to retain 75%. Not sure if that's an option nowadays with the NHL's new rules, but still, if Artemi Panarin becomes even available at 5.8 mil, then that's pretty good, I'd say. If he's a point-per-game guy going out there and costing less than $6 million on your payroll, this can be a really nice option for a team like Florida that can definitely take advantage of the cap and the situations over there. But with this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these Rangers trade rumors from Brennan Othmann needing a change of scenery, another failed first-round pick, to Artemi Panarin potentially being on the block if the Rangers don't do all too well? What are your thoughts on the likelihood of this happening soon? And did you enjoy this video? If you did, feel free to hit the like button. If you did not, then hey, the dislike button's there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.